followed the story. The initial report said she went to 2 hospitals. Of course, neither of them had antivenom before they went to the Federal Medical Center in Jabi, where she passed. And they released a statement saying they did attempt to stabilize and treat her, but found out that she had developed severe neurotoxic complications from the bite. Now, as a matter of information for every other person, because there is nothing we can do to bring the young lady back, but moving forward, we can take precautions, we can learn a little more. So what factors define the severity of a snake bite? What's like the window that anybody has, so that if this happens again or around us, we can know how to react?
So usually it depends on the kind of snake, first of all. If you're dealing with cobras or you're dealing with black mambas, those ones have the kind of venom that is referred to as neurotoxic. So, straight to the brain and cause things like shutting down the person's breathing, and this could even take as much as 30 minutes to 1 hour. Yeah. If you're dealing with snakes like vipers, those ones are, hemotoxic. They just go into your bloodstream and then then they start to break down your blood. This is me trying to make it as simple as possible. And then they start to break down the person's blood. The blood is life. If the blood is broken down in such a way that it becomes quote unquote useless to the person, then it affects how that person is going to be alive. These ones will usually take hours, and they could lead to things like internal bleeding. They could lead to stroke. You also need to take into consideration how much venom was injected in this person, which means that the size of the snake is also very important, right? If it's a big snake, there are chances that a much larger amount of venom has been injected into the person. You also need to look at things like, but this is just speculation. There are sometimes that snakes bite people, but they don't inject venom in them. They are called dry bites, right? And then it depends on how threatened the snake feels it is. And then there are other times where the snake just empties everything it can. But you can't look at a snake bite and immediately start to judge, oh, I think it's a dry bite, or I think it's a full bite or a wet bite. The most important thing is at that particular point, you're now dependent on the system's ability to save you, which means the availability of antivenom very close to you. One thing that happened in Ifunaya's case was that, according to some reports, allegedly that she had a 500-meter sprint trying to get to the hospital. And in a case that's